talking some golf today, getting ready for the PGA Championship. Joining me today, our golf correspondent, works with the PGA Tour. Dan DeMartini is here. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Mike. Exciting time. It's starting to get golf season here around the country and including the Northeast. So golf is definitely on people's minds. So happy to talk about it with you again.
Absolutely. I mean, let's start with the championship. As we go into the ocean course out at Kiawah Island at South Carolina. I admit I never heard this before. I had to look it up. I know they've played the PGA there once before. What do you know about this course and how is it going to play?
Well, Kiawah Island is just, it's kind of known as, your amateur golfer's nightmare, because it's also a nightmare for the pros as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful course. It's obviously an ocean course, so you can imagine it's built right in the ocean. It's everything that you can imagine of a course. There are tight fairways, tough breezes. You're second guessing yourself every club because you're not sure if the wind's about to pick up coming off the ocean. And the holes are designed in a way where it's challenging no matter what you do. You have to make really tough calls all the time. Do you try to power your drives, way out there and then just deal with the repercussions of what the wind does to it? Or do you try to keep the ball low and just kind of play that kind of low punch game and try to keep it underneath the wind gusts? It's kind of crazy, but I have not personally been up there. I've watched it. Obviously, Kiawah Island is featured quite a bit on various different golf networks. They do a lot of teaching shows from Kiawah Island, and they also, obviously, we've seen plenty of PGA Tour and professional events take place there. But it really, even if you look at the weather report and it says mid 70s and 8 to 50 mile an hour winds, it doesn't seem like much. But for those of you who've played golf along the coastline, it's giving me nightmares thinking back to when I went to Bandon Dunes on the Oregon coast when you had to take 3 extra clubs just to get the ball to get anywhere near the hole, and the wind would still hold it up. So playing ocean style links golf is one of the hardest things that you can do. So these pros are definitely in for a test again coming next week.
Absolutely. I mean, I mentioned before at the top, we heard the clip a minute ago. Rory McIlroy won here the only time the PGA was here back in 2012. He's playing good golf right now. Do you think he has what it takes to win here again?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, anytime Rory gets hot, you want to kind of stay on that train. And Rory's the kind of guy that has the game to kind of stack wins. There's always a couple players out there who you might look at and say, okay, they had a great week, but do they really have enough of that competitive edge to now go out and exert another 4 more rounds of high level tournament competitive golf? They might not be able to, but Rory and guys like Dustin and Justin Thomas and those guys, they can do it. So when Rory's hot, you can't pick against him. Some interesting stats kind of that Rory's going for him right now. I personally am a little surprised just going into this event because, he hadn't played particularly great, since the last time we were the last 4 events kind of leading into Wells Fargo. So it was a bit of a surprise, but his stats were good. I think he had missed 2 cuts and he had like a tied for 28th or something along those lines prior to his win. So it kind of came out of nowhere. But if you look at the stats, strokes gained off the tee, he is 5th on the tour right now. He's 2nd in driving distance. And I think there's one other thing. Yeah. And the other stat that I love was birdies. So he's 6th on tour right now in making birdies. So, when they look at those and you kind of look at it an average, you want guys that are going to hit the ball off the tee, give themselves chances to go low, because at Kiawah Island, you're going to have a hole where your double bogey is very much in play anytime you step up to the tee box. So you're going to need to get as many birdies on the card to offset the inevitable bogey. So the real key stat for me is he's kind of average right now when it comes to greens and regulation, which if you're not familiar with what greens and regulation means, it's, on a par 4, you would tee off and then you would hit the green in 2. So you'd be giving yourself a chance for birdie. They're assuming that it'd be a 2-putt for a par. So you want to get on the hole with second shot. And so greens and regulation is definitely a very key stat in my mind. And right now I wish he was a little bit higher because you're going to need it at Kiawah.
Yeah, for sure. And another guy, I always like to ask about the defending champ here. Back in August, the PGA, Colin Morikawa won out in San Francisco last year. Do you think he will do well here?
I think he will. And the only thing that I don't love is that he hasn't played much golf. If you kind of look, he hasn't played in over a month. But once again, I mean, it's kind of crazy when he was playing. I mean, strokes gained, approach to the green, I think he's first. Greens and regulation percentage, I think he's second. Proximity to the hole, so that means like guys from the fairway, when you approach the green with your irons or even a long wood, it's how is that second shot? How close to the hole is it getting? I think he's like 10th. So he's giving himself chances to score, which those 3 statistics, greens and reg, strokes gained, those are critical to winning at Kiawah. And he's in the top 10 in all 3 of those categories. So even though he hasn't played a ton of golf lately, man, it'd be really, I couldn't believe it. We'll get into it in a minute here. I know we always threw the odds, but to see him at 20-1, I think that's a steal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also like to track and see so he can actually pull off what seems like the impossible and win a actual calendar year Grand Slam in golf. And this year's contender is Hideki Matsuyama after he won at the Masters last month. So do you think he's got a shot to make some noise here? Or do you think this is the wrong course for him?
I don't know. My gut is telling me it's not going to happen for him, only because when he won the Masters, it was such a monumental thing for golf, especially for the whole nation of Japan. It is such a amazing thing for Hideki, who, is a phenomenal player, but he's also just a great person on and off the course. And to get him as their champion to represent that nation, and what it meant to the whole nation, it's amazing to see that they have so much pride in what he did, and they're so proud of who Hideki has become as a professional golfer, and it put Japanese golfers on the map there. And Hideki obviously took a whole month off to do a media tour and to go back to Japan and really kind of take it all in when it comes to the bigness of winning a major, especially at Augusta. So being the first one to do it is incredible for him. So he might still be on that major win hangover.
Yeah, we've seen that before. And obviously everyone's going for those majors. A lot of the big names will be out there. Obviously, still no Tiger, still on the mend from his car accident. But of the big names who are going to be out there, which ones do you think are going to do very well here? We already talked about Rory, but who else?
Sure. Just looking at the odds list here, and kind of going through kind of some of the more betting favorites to kind of see how they do. I actually think Jon Rahm is a sneaky name for this course. He's really, really good at ball shaping and shot shaping. So, when you're looking at Kiawah Island, something that is like a very standard thing that you would work on would be right when you get there, and as you kind of take your normal approach to getting used to the course setup and the tee boxes and things like that, you're looking for sight lines, right? So sight lines in golf mean where are you going to try to hit this ball so that your next shot is going to give you a really good chance to get it into the hole, right? So if the pin, and you're playing a straight, par 4 right up the middle, but the pin is kind of tucked all the way to the right, you want to make sure that your approach shot is coming from the left side of the fairway, so you have more green and a better angle to land the ball and let it roll up next to the pin. You wouldn't want to be all the way to the right if the pin's all the way to the right. Rahm is kind of a master with his irons when it comes to picking great sight lines and shot shaping. So Rahm is definitely somebody. I think he's going out at 12-1. I think that's a really good pick there. He's long enough off the tee, and if his putter's going, that could be a steal there. I do like guys like Tyrell Hatton. I know that's not a huge name, but I just think that he kind of has that sneaky good game. So don't be shocked if he's in the top 10. Koepka is really hard to predict right now. I know I got to see him for like 2 minutes today at the Byron Nelson. I know he's playing, but it's really hard to tell whether he's 100% healthy. He's out there. I think he's kind of toughing it out, and he's not talking about his injuries that are still going on, but I think he's playing to keep up the competitive reps. But I just don't know if this is the 100% Brooks Koepka. If we get that, oh, geez, he could be very much in it, because he's the kind of guy that can power his shots right through those ocean breezes. So I love Brooks if he's, at 100%. I don't think he will be. 2 other names to keep an eye out, and then I'll save my number 1 pick. I'm going to save as my overall pick, the biggest name probably out there. But 2 other guys to keep your eyes on. Justin Rose, he's going out at 40-1. So I guess you would count him kind of as a sleeper. But Rosie obviously doesn't have a ton of distance off the tee, but man, is he good when it comes from that fairway accuracy and strokes gained going into, being able to put the ball on those sight lines. You want guys that are really good iron players next week at Kiawah. And he's definitely one of them. So keep an eye on Justin Rose. And then I really think the last kind of name that, if he's hot, don't be shocked if he's right up the list too, is Daniel Berger. So, I think that his game he's not known as as a power player. He can kind of do a little bit of everything. He can scramble when he needs to scramble. He can make that shot when he needs to from the fairway to shape a ball into the green to put himself in position for birdie. So if Berger's playing well, I like him at 33-1. Those are pretty good odds there for him. I know you're going to ask about Bryson. I really don't think that this is the course for Bryson. Every time that I've seen somebody asks me, is Bryson going to win this week? I'm always off by 1 week. I do feel pretty confident though this week that this course just isn't set up for him. So I could be wrong. Maybe he's going to take a different approach. Maybe he'll be more conservative, but I don't think this is the right setup for someone with his kind of game.
Yeah, that makes some sense. I also like looking at the sleepers when you're trying to look at these events. Who's somebody who's not as high up the odds list here? High up on the name radar here. Give me one guy who you're very high. I think you can do very well here.
Yeah, Will Zalatoris. I know a lot of people got to know him on Sunday of the Masters this past year. He had a chance to kind of close the gap. He's the young kid that looks like Caddy from Happy Gilmore. He's got the kind of the curly or maybe blonde locks, super skinny, tiny guy, but man, can he really hit the ball? I mean, just a beautiful golf swing. A lot of power in a small body there. So he can really pack a punch. And I just think that his game right now, I mean, he plays all the time, and he's so young. He's out there, he's grinding week after week playing. He's getting amazing experience. He's where he has come from 2 years ago to now. I mean, he has just made a massive impact on the tour, and I'm sure he's only going to get better and better from here. So keep an eye on him. And I think he's going out here on the list at 40-1. So once again, if you're looking for a deep sleeper, Will Zalatoris is my guy.
Absolutely. And picking winners in golf is very, very hard because, as we know, it depends on how the stroke is that week, how the weather is, all sorts of factors are beyond your control. But if you had to make an educated guess here and say, my winner pick for the PGA this week is blank, who is fill in the blank?
Yeah, it's Justin Thomas. I know that's kind of a bit of a cop out. He's going at 14-1, so he's not the betting favorite. But I just think that he stacks up so well for this kind of challenge of golf. When Justin is in rhythm and playing his best. He's the kind of guy when all the scores start falling off, guys are, the wind is bothering them, the conditions are terrible, this and that. Justin's got the determination and confidence in his game to kind of rise above that. And he'll be making birdies while other guys are falling back down the board. We saw it at the Players Championship. So, and that's another Pete Dye designed course, just like Kiawah. And, I like to go with the course designer. If you're having success on those courses, that means your game's in shape. So right now, I think Justin Thomas, he's first in birdie average on tour, 24th in greens in regulation, which I said is that key stat. So he's top 25 there. He's third in scoring average on tour right now. So when he goes out and he's playing in competitive rounds, he's shooting the third scoring lowest average. So that's basically saying, he's keeping his rounds under par. He's not having these kind of super low, super high. He's consistently staying in that kind of, lower average than most. So I just think that he's consistent. His game's in shape. He's healthy. I think he's taken enough rest time, and I think he's gearing up to win this. This will be whoever wins this event. I mean, it's going to be, you're talk about needing to take a week off. I mean, this course, if it plays like I think it will, it's just a daunting task. The PGA Tour and all the events and all the majors that they put out there. I mean, you think you're just going out and playing a golf course, and why if Tiger was such an anomaly that he could adapt his game to play at all those courses and be so successful week after week after week. I mean, that may never happen again. I hope we find, somebody that can do that all the time, but there are certain courses that fit particular styles, and Kiawah Island is definitely one of them.
All right, Dan, thanks all the time. I really appreciate it. Before I let you go, I'll be people follow on social media, keep up with some of the stuff you're doing.
Sure. Out of Town Fan Pod on Twitter. I'll be tweeting a bit next week during the event. Just kind of keeping my eyes on the golfing world. I am not sponsored by Ping. I just happen to be wearing the hat today. No connection to a sponsorship there. I just happen to love the Ping hats, and I was swinging some clubs earlier today. So, other than that, enjoying the few months where we get to focus on baseball and golf, and before training camps and OT and all that stuff can get going. So I hope everybody enjoys. Watch the rest of the AT&T Byron Nelson. It's going to be a great finish at TPC Craig Ranch this weekend, and enjoy PGA Championship next.
All right, there you have it, Dan. Thanks all the time. I really appreciate it.
No problem.